Hey there everybody, this is Kenneth Moore and welcome to another After Effects tutorial. And in this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can bring your files from Illustrator into After Effects. All this coming up next. So you will see here that I have this logo. I'm going to open this up in Illustrator. And if I go over to my layers right here, and I'm going to open this up. And if you don't see your layers, just make sure you go up to Window and have layer selected or press F7. And if I open up my layers, you see I have my text down here that I've written out, and then I have these groups down here of different paths that have been created to form this entire logo. And if I turn off the different paths, notice that certain aspects of the logo, like the main title right here, is actually being removed. And if I want to remove a whole part of it, I just turn off the group and the whole group will go away. And I can turn off different aspects of the shapes as well. All right, awesome. Now what we want to figure out is how to bring this into After Effects. So what we're going to do is we are going to save it. So Control S. And if you're using a SVG file, you need to make sure that you're saving it as an Illustrator file. So go up to File and then Save As. Save it as an Illustrator EPS, or you can save it as Adobe Illustrator AI, because the SVG file is not going to work. I'll press Cancel because mine is already EPS. All right, now I'm going to jump into After Effects. And I will press Control I to import. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to find Kenneth logo and I'm going to import it as composition retain layer sizes. Press import. Now notice that I have this composition that has appeared of my logo, and if I open this up, I have my Illustrator file. I'm going to open up the composition down here. And we see that we have it, and we see that the transparency is on. If you want to turn it off, you just turn this right there. Now what we want to do is we want to actually be able to edit this in a very specific way. But right now we can't do that because it was brought in as a whole. So if I try to scale it up, the whole thing moves up and down, and that's not what I want. So what we're going to have to do is we are going to right click on this, go up to Create, and select Create Shapes from Vector Layer. Now notice that a new layer has been created of outlines, and if I open up the contents, I have different groups down here of different aspects in my image. So if I was to turn this off, we see that I'm affecting this last E, and if I want to mess with the fill of it, I can do that. I can make it red like this. I'll press Control Z to undo that, or Command Z if you're on a Mac. And you will also notice that my text with my name has been removed. And After Effects has done that because in Illustrator, my text was not a path, it was simply text. And if we open up Illustrator, we will see that there's no path here, it's just text. So After Effects did not make an outline of it. So that's one way that you can work with Illustrator files in After Effects. All right, so we've seen how to bring in a file into Illustrator, and we saw how it worked with the shape layers inside of our groups. But let's say we wanted to make certain aspects of our logo their own layer. How could we do this? Well, it's pretty simple. I could say take a part of my logo right up here. So let's say for this feather here, well, all you have to do is simply click over here and then go up here to the three bars and select Collect a New Layer. And now notice that this one path was actually turned into a layer. And I'm going to drag it down to the bottom so I know that it's outside of everything else. And I'm going to copy that process for the rest of the paths that I have. All right, awesome. So now I have this orange feather and all the parts are now a layer. So when I bring this into After Effects, I'll have 4 different layers of this. And you can do the same process with the text up here as well. So the company, I can make its own. So So here I have text and it's going to be its own layer. Now, one other side note is that the names that you have in Illustrator for your layers are going to be brought over into After Effects. So if you want to change your names here to better help you organize things, you can do that here. Now, what about this text, my name right here? Remember that After Effects didn't use it. The simplest way would simply be to rewrite the text in After Effects and not even worry about it if I wanted to edit it. And the same here with this text. Actually, you could just recreate it in After Effects and you wouldn't have to worry about transferring all of it. But if you wanted to use this text here with my name, all you would have to do is simply click on it. And then, as you know, collect a new layer, drag it down, and then you're going to right click and select Create Outlines. And now notice that if we twirl this down, each letter has been given its own compound path. So that's how you could work with that and bring each letter into After Effects. Now I'm going to bring this over to After Effects, so I'm going to save it. So File, Save As, and I'm going to make sure that this time it's saved as an Adobe Illustrator file. This is very important. If not, what we're about to do in After Effects isn't going to work. Press Save, Replace, press OK. All right, good. So I have this. And now notice if I twirl down my layers, you will see that I have layers for all of the letters and for the logo that I took apart. And if I open this up like this, I have my logo. Awesome. And layer 13 is my name right here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply highlight them all. I'm going to right click, create, and then I'm going to select Create Shapes from Vector Layer so that I'm able to do a little bit more in After Effects. So like this, and now I have outlines. And notice that with the outline, so the second one, I'm able to transform the contents and the group inside of the content, while with just the layer, I can just transform it. So working with the outlines gives you a few more options. And if I want to work with the text, which was layer 13, if I open this up, I have all of the different letters of my text down here that I can change. So there you go. Now with these here, I'm going to just close them all up, and I'm going to actually just grab all of my outlines, and I'm going to drag them down to the bottom so that there's just a little bit more separation. And then with my layers here, you will notice that they've automatically been turned off. So it's no real point of having them here. So I will turn on the Shy button right here, which will hide them. And then I'm going to click this so that they disappear. So there you go. That's a little bit about how to bring files from Illustrator to After Effects. I hope that you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next tutorial. Until next time.